everyone, John Proulx here with today's quick tip on one of the most useful scales in jazz, the altered scale, also known as the Super-Locrian Scale. Although it has many names, I'm going to show you 3 tricks on how to easily identify the notes of the scale and use it to improvise so that you can sound like a pro. You ready to learn? Let's go. All right, so if you're like me, you love to geek out on some jazz theory. So let's get into it and talk about what is this altered scale and how do we identify it? So we're going to get into, first of all, what are the notes of the altered scale, and we're going to start with the root, which is C. We're going to do the flat 9, the sharp 9, the third, the sharp 11, the flat 13, the 7th, and the root. And the reason they call it altered scale is because all of the chord extensions are altered. So the 9th, which would be D, you have the flat 9 and the sharp 9. That's both the alterations, right? You have the sharp 11 and you have the flat 13. So you have all of the notes that can be altered that are altered. And again, let's just review it one more time. Here is this root, flat 9, sharp 9, 3, sharp 11, flat 13, flat 7, and root. You know, when you're doing a scale by itself, it can sound kind of stale and out of context, but when you put it in context with like a 2-5-1 or a 5-1 chord progression, it sounds pretty cool, and later on we're going to play some different lines, something like this, for example. Or, so there's really cool lines that you can play using this scale. And so we're going to get into next talking about what are the chords that you can use this scale over. And the thing is, because there's so many alterations in this, remember we have the flat 9, the sharp 9, the sharp 11, and the flat 13, you're going to see the chords written differently. So if you see just a regular C7, go ahead and play that altered scale. If you see a C7 flat 9, you can play that altered scale, because again, that flat 9's in there. Or you could see a C7 sharp 9. Again, you could use that altered scale. Sometimes you might see a C7 flat 9, sharp 11. Again, use the altered scale. Or you may see a C7 flat 9, flat 13. Or you may see a C7 with a sharp 9 and a flat 13. All right, so one of the first ways we can think about the altered scale is as the Super-Locrian scale. So first of all, what is a Super-Locrian scale? Well, first let's talk about what is a Locrian scale. So C-Locrian would be, it's the 7th mode of D flat major. So everyone can play a D flat major scale, right? So C-Locrian is the 7th mode of D flat major. So you're playing a D flat major scale starting on C. That would be C-Locrian. Now C Super-Locrian is where you lower the 4th to the 3rd, or the major 3rd. So now we have, and then the rest of it is the same as the Locrian. So we have Locrian, and we have Super-Locrian where we lower the 4th. So another way to think about the altered scale is as the 7th mode of D flat melodic minor. And D flat melodic minor is the same thing as a D flat major scale with a lowered 3rd. And if we start that scale on the 7th, which is C, we have this, the altered scale, just like before, right? So how can we easily access this scale? Well, one trick is to take a dominant chord and to play a melodic minor scale a half step up from that dominant chord. So if it says C7 alt, and you're trying to play an altered scale, go up a half step and play a D flat melodic minor. And if you started it on 7 or C, you'd have the altered scale. Just a little trick to help you find that. The third way to think about an altered scale, which is the one that really resonated the most with me when I was learning about this scale, is what's called the diminished whole tone scale. And I know it sounds like a lot, but let me break it down for you. The first 3 notes of the scale are diminished, meaning we're going alternating half steps and whole steps. So we go half, whole, and then the remaining notes of the scale are whole tones, which means they're all whole steps. And I love this approach because if you do this scale descending, what you can do is just go all down whole steps like that with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then go half step, whole step, half step. So again, all whole steps, whole tone scale, and then half step, whole step, half step. So diminished, whole tone. And sometimes it's nice to even take the scale in chunks like that. And that way you can do it in any key. I could go and do F and do the same thing. I would just go F, down whole steps, and then half step, whole step, half step. And by the way, you can also go to Piano with Jonny and learn about these scales and modes, where we also have downloadable PDFs and MP3s from today's quick tip. All right, now comes the fun part where we're going to learn some different licks using the altered scale now that that theory stuff's out of the way. And we're going to start with the first lick, and I call it the Crimea River lick. And maybe you've heard of that song before, Crimea River. It's a beautiful ballad. Well, that particular melody is used as a quote for this, using this altered scale. And what we're doing is we're starting on C7, we're starting on the sharp 9. So if you want to grab that right away, just go to the dominant chord and go up a minor third to the sharp 9, flat 9, flat 13, jump down to the third, sharp 9, flat 9. Let's just do that much of it, right? So we go sharp 9, flat 13, 3, sharp 9, flat 9. And then we can resolve both to the major and also to the minor. So we're resolving now to an F major 9. So we have root 7, 9, 3, 5. And the rhythm of this goes 1, 2, and a 3, and 4, and like that. Let's try that together slowly. Ready? Go. 1, 2, and a 3, and 4, and 1, 2, again, and 1, 2, and a 3, and 4, and. Now this is just one of the rhythms that you could use. You can also just go, or you can go. There's a lot of variations on this lick, but this is the one we're going to be practicing. So let's try it with the track now. I'll play it once, you play it, I'll play it again, and you play it a fourth time. Here we go. You try it. All right, I'll go here. Your turn. Very cool. So now we can resolve this as well to a minor 1. So that's a great thing about altered scales, is that they can be used both in major keys and also in minor keys. So this, now we're going to resolve this to a minor 1. So it's the same exact lick, but now instead of an F major 9, we're making it an F minor 9. So same thing, left hand's playing the root, right hand's playing the 7, 9, 3, 5, but now F minor 9. So again, it's 1, 2, and a 3, and 4, and 1, F minor. Let's try that same exercise with the track. 2, 3, your turn. My turn. Your turn. That's great. And you know, when you learn about these different licks, you're going to start hearing them. The more you listen to recordings of jazz artists, you're going to say, hey, I know that lick. So there's also the reverse Crimea River lick. So all that means is that instead of starting at the top and going from the sharp 9, going down like this, now we're starting down here at the sharp 9 and going the other direction. So we go sharp 9, 3, 13, root, sharp 9, flat 9, and then resolving to the F major 9. So we go 1 and 2 and a 3, 4, and. Try that with me. 3, 4, 1, and triple it. 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4. Cool. Let's try that with the track. 2, 3, your turn. My turn. And you can always vary these licks as well when you're playing this. For example, you go, so you can add little turns like that if you'd like. These rhythms are just a suggestion, but this is a typical rhythm that you hear a lot. 1 and triplet, 3, 4 and. So now we're going to do it resolving to a minor 1, so F minor 9. So same lick, F minor 9, so we have 9, 3, 5 in the right hand, root 7 in the left hand. Let's try that with the track. Here we go. My turn. Your turn. This next lick comes from a couple different songs. The first song is called A Night in Tunisia, and at the very end of the song you may have heard Dizzy Gillespie do this. Or there's another song called I'm a Fool to Want You. I'm a fool to want you. So that's where this quote, we'll call it, comes from. And what we're doing is we're taking the C7, starting on the root, doing a little passing tone here, going up to the flat 13, down to the 3rd, and then resolving to the 9th of the 1 chord. So again, it's 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. Again, you can resolve either to a major or minor. Let's try that together. Ready? And 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. Cool, let's try it with the track. My turn. 2, 3, your turn. Great. Now let's resolve it to a minor 1, which is the way it is in Night in Tunisia and I'm a Fool to Want You. So same lick, but now we're going resolving to a minor 9, F minor 9, 3, 5, 7, 9. So again, it's 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. Let's try that with the track. Here we go. My turn. 2, 3, your turn. You might be wondering how to use these licks over 2-5-1 chord progression, so I'm going to show you how we can use that. 2-5-1 in the key of F would be G minor 7, C7 alt, and then F major 9. So on the 2 chord, what I wrote out is just a diatonic G minor, like a G Dorian. So we're starting on the 5th, we're going 5th, 6th, 7th, root, and then when we get to the 5 chord, we're going to the flat 13, 3, sharp 9, flat 9, and then to the 1 chord. And that's such a cool lick, starting on the flat 13. Da, 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 da. So we have da, 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 da. Let's try that together. Ready, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And that's F major. Well, we can also resolve it to F minor, which would sound like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and F minor. That would be the 3rd and 4th ending there. So let's try it with the track. We're going to do it resolving to F major first and then F minor the 2nd time. So I'll start. That's major. Your turn. Here we go. Okay, now my turn, and I'll resolve it to the minor. 2, 3, your turn. Great. Now that was ascending, where the line, the first part was ascending up to the flat 13. This next example, we're starting where it's a descending line, starting on the 5th of the G minor. So it's D, so it's 5, 3, 9, 1, and then to the same ending. Flat 13, 3, sharp 9, flat 9, and then the F major 9. So we have, and then we'll also do it going to minor. Let's try that with the track. I'll start. 2, 3, your turn. Okay, now I'll resolve to the minor. 2, 3, your turn. Yeah. Our final altered scale lick is the scalar approach, and the first one is ascending. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this altered scale, we're going to start on the sharp 9, we're going to go down to the root, and then we're going to take the scale up. Like that. So we're starting on the sharp 9, root, flat 9, sharp 9, 3, sharp 11, flat 13, 7, resolve to F major 9, and then we'll do the same thing, resolving to F minor 9. Let's try it with the track, where we're going to do kind of a bossa nova groove with this one. So I'll start. 2, 3, your turn. Okay, now I'll resolve to the minor. Cool. Now we're going to do a descending scale, and this one, again, this is kind of how I really related to this altered scale by thinking of it as a diminished whole tone. So you have all whole tone or whole steps going down, right? But then because it's only a 7-note scale, we need one more note to create the 8 eighth notes there. So I just put in a lower neighbor, which is really an enclosure of the C, which is the 5th of the F major 9. So we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 lower neighbor and resolve to F major 9. And again, this part is all whole steps, right? And then there's our diminished, and then lower neighbor, and then we hit that F major 9, and then we can do the same thing going to the minor 1. Let's try that with the track. Here we go. I'll start. 2, 3, your turn. Now I'll resolve to the minor 1. 2, 3, your turn. Yeah, great job. Thank you for attending today's quick tip on the altered scale, the Super-Locrian scale. You know, at the beginning we talked a lot about some theory and how to name the scale, some different ways of naming the scale, but ultimately it's just about finding the notes of the scale, whichever way is easier for you. There's a lot of different ways of thinking about it, but ultimately the goal is to try to use it as improvisation, and I hope those licks were really helpful to you. And also you can take those licks and create your own improv licks using those examples, and even find some tunes that use that chord progression and see if you can work in that altered scale. Have fun. Thanks for being here. I'll see you again soon.
Hey, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the lesson, be sure to check out pianowithjonny.com. We have over 1,000 step-by-step lessons for all playing levels, where you'll learn your favorite songs, styles, and how to improvise at the piano. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.